Hi there, Kris from Stone Age Gamer here, and welcome back to Stone Age Gaming, where we are here for the final chapter in my games that made the Nintendo Switch Nintendo's best generation ever video, where I'm going through all of my absolute favorite games from that generation that really just hit home, that just nailed it for me. And there's been a lot more of them than I initially thought. I was only going to do like one or two of these, but here we are, part 6, the last one. We're hitting up the end of the alphabet. This has been a really fun ride, and I'm glad you guys have been enjoying it. I've been enjoying making them. But let me tell you something. I thought it would be really fun to go up into my attic and get my old work shirts to wear on camera. And this one smells like an attic, and not in a good way. It's rather unpleasant. I really should have washed it before doing this, but I'm kind of making this video on the fly. I should have at least ironed it. I mean, I look like a mess, but this is my old Toys R Us work shirt, and it's heavy, it's warm. I think I'm going to wash it if I'm ever going to wear this again. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I just wanted you to know that I'm very uncomfortable right now, and this stinks. But what doesn't stink is the games we're about to talk about, so here we go. And here we are, back with my trusty Switch 2 here, and we're going to use this to look through this folder that I made, Best of Switch 6, to show off all the good stuff. Man, my kid keeps making folders. Often plays. Good times. Fun pastimes. Oh, I wonder what that's about. Anyway, we're here for this one, Best of Switch 2. So here are here's the last lineup of games, and we're going to start with Sonic Mania. Oh boy, Sonic Mania. So back in the old days, I was always jealous of my friends who had the Sega Genesis. Specifically my friend Greg and my other friend Mike. They had the Genesis, and while I was always way happier with my Super Nintendo, I always thought Sonic the Hedgehog was super cool. I loved the Sonic the Hedgehog games, those original classics, and I wasn't crazy about Sonic CD, but then Sonic 3 and Knuckles was amazing, and then Sonic Adventure I really enjoyed, but really it just fell off so hardcore after that, except for the occasional 2D game, like Sonic Rush on DS is freaking outstanding. But those classic Genesis Sonic games, I always wanted something that truly harkened back to those, and this game nailed it. It's one of the best trailers I've ever seen for anything in my life. I love the music. I had so much fun with this game. It felt like the missing Sonic game. Like this was the next step for Sonic games as far as level design and technology. Like you can see that they're doing things with this that they couldn't have done on the older hardware, but it's still in that same style. It's just magnificent. If you liked classic Sonic the Hedgehog and you've never tried Sonic Mania because you've been turned off by the last, I don't know, a couple of decades of 3D Sonic games being what they are, this game is absolutely for you. I can't say enough good things about it. Love Sonic Mania, love it to death. The DLC was solid too. Good stuff. Speaking of Sonic, let's talk about Sonic Origins. Now, this is going to be a weird one because I know people had some issues with this game, and there are things that I have problems with, for sure, like the music that's missing from Sonic 3. There's a whole rights issue tied up with the original Genesis cartridge Sonic 3 music, and that is a freaking tragedy because the soundtrack in Sonic 3 is so good. But here's the thing. Sonic Origins has something in it that brings me an unreasonable amount of joy, and that is bonus stages at 60 frames per second. So I know this is a weird thing to define the Switch generation with, but I it's one of those things that I just cannot put into words. It's bothered me so much. I was always jealous of my Sonic fan friends, right? The kids that had the Genesis. But man, when I got to those bonus stages, particularly Sonic 1 and 2, those bonus stages, very specifically 2, those half-pipe things, I've always hated the way they looked. They're just awful. It's a neat idea. They're a fun concept. They're fun to play, but the courses run by at this horrid frame rate. This thing came out and they fixed them. They corrected. They made those things run at 60 frames per second. I know it's the strangest thing to be so excited about. I love being able to play these games in widescreen. There's so many cool things about Sonic Origins. It's such a wonderful collection that I really wish Nintendo would do with the original NES Super Mario Brothers games. Just gotta spruce them up, but that's a whole different story. The fact that you can play these bonus stages in this format, it just did something to my brain. It just did something. I don't even know how to put it into words. It was just like a lifelong dream that I never thought would happen, just happened. They went and fixed something that bothered me from my childhood, and it just can't say enough good things. It's so wonderful. Okay, speaking of wonderful, this is Streets of Rage 4. I have never been the biggest Streets of Rage fan in my life. I loved the original Streets of Rage, and I used to play Streets of Rage 2 again at a friend's house. Streets of Rage 3 didn't do it for me, mostly because the music, wow. I know folks like the Streets of Rage 3 soundtrack. I am not one of those people. Just no. But I always thought Streets of Rage was pretty cool. The thing is that the folks that did this game, Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, we're going to talk about that. They did Streets of Rage. And this game impressed me so much, I said, anything these guys do after this, I will absolutely give it a try. And it turns out Streets of Rage 4 is phenomenal. I love me a good beat 'em up. I really do. I always have. And this is a really, really good beat 'em up. And even for somebody who doesn't have a huge amount of nostalgia for the Streets of Rage franchise, like myself, this killed it. This game crushed it. It's got awesome DLC. It's got amazing music. It's got just unbelievable visuals. This animated, hand-drawn visual style that these guys go with for these games is breathtaking, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. They did Wonder Boy, they did Streets of Rage, they did that new Shinobi game that I haven't really had a chance to play yet because I'm still waiting for my physical copy to show up in the mail. I can't wait to spend more time with it because these games these people make just utterly gorgeous games, and Streets of Rage 4 is a masterpiece. It's just an absolute masterclass as far as making beat-em-ups goes. Modern beat-em-ups, it's top of the pile. It's wondrous. Suika game. When I tell you this game took over our house, I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing this game's music. It was constant. It was unavoidable, and it's also pretty great. It's a pretty straightforward puzzle game that got ripped off over and over again. There's lots of clones out there. This one, it's extremely straightforward, but it is really, really fun and very addictive and very calming. It's an extremely relaxing game, and I swear this game's music, it reminds me of Bubble Bobble, where it's just this one thing that plays for hours and hours because you'll play this game for hours. It's that addictive. And it just kind of doesn't get old. It just sits there in your head and loops around and around. But, I mean, we haven't played it a lot lately. It kind of ran its course, but there were months upon months where my wife was playing this almost nonstop. The kids got in on it. I got in on it. It's just a fantastic puzzle game, and I'm so glad that it's here. It still exists. I will have this ridiculous watermelon thing. You drop fruit, and if you drop two of the same kind of fruit, they turn into a bigger fruit, and you have to keep matching the two fruit together to eventually form a watermelon, a suika. And if you get two watermelons, then those watermelons disappear and it clears out more room. I've never gotten two watermelons. I've gotten real close, but I've never gotten two watermelons. Anyway, Suika game's amazing. And it's wonderful. All right, this one here is kind of a heartbreaker. This is Super Mario Bros. 35, which is brilliant. And you can't play it anymore. For some dumb reason, Nintendo decided this game was only going to be available and playable for a limited time. You want to make something available for a limited time? I hate that. But at least I kind of sort of understand it. This is no longer playable. If you launch this, it does nothing. It'll just... Sorry, you can't play this anymore. So this kind of based off this one here, Tetris 99. This is Super Mario Bros. 35. 35, it was for the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. And 35 people play Super Mario Bros. At the same time. And when you defeat enemies, they show up on one of your opponent's screens. So it just turns into this bedlam of chaos where just Bowser's showing up all over the place and bloopers and enemies that don't belong there. They just keep showing up in your path, and you have to go as far as you can and be the last one standing. It's a battle royale kind of a situation. It was insanely fun. It was so good, and then Nintendo just pulled the plug, which really sucks. I was really upset about that. God, I hope they bring this back in some way, shape, or form someday, because this is a great concept. It is a really solid idea. And the fact that it's completely unplayable now is nothing short of a tragedy, but boy was it fun while it lasted. Alright, Super Mario Maker 2, boom! I have this one physically. Of course I do. I just kind of missed this one in my other ones, so I know this was kind of a digital one, but I'm still going to talk about the physical package anyway, because I have it here, and the game is somewhere upstairs because my kids still play it. This game's amazing. The original Super Mario Maker was an absolute blast. I loved the original Mario Maker on Wii U. There are things about the Switch version that aren't as good as the Wii U one. The Wii U one has a little bit more weirdness to it, and it also... The touchscreen and just being able to play on the touchscreen and then immediately on the TV afterwards was really, really cool. And I hope that if they do a Mario Maker 3 on Switch 2, they'll have some sort of process like that, because like a Switch 1 can be used like a Wii U gamepad on the Switch 2. The game share is really interesting, and it's got a lot of future prospects that are very exciting to me. But anyway, Super Mario Maker 2, it added inclines, it added new stage elements, it added so much cool stuff, lots of great music. Love the music in Super Mario Maker. They make these, whenever you're actually creating a level, the music becomes this kind of weird, inverse isn't the right word, but this kind of like a understated version, like a background track to whatever the regular stage music you'd be using would be. It's really interesting stuff. It's very, very cool, and it lines up perfectly with the original tracks. Anyway, I spent so much time on Mario Maker 2 because the tools just finally really felt right, and they clicked with me, and you could make your own full game, and I did it. I made my own world, and I'm still really proud of it. I would love to go back and spend more time refining it someday. I spent a lot of time refining it already, to be honest, and there's just too many new games coming out for me to go back and actually do it, but boy, was I proud of the work that I did, and I had so much fun doing it. Super Mario Maker 2 is fantastic, and I really hope they continue this, because I know Mario Maker 2 didn't perform as well as they wanted to, based on how well Mario Maker 1 did on Wii U. I don't really know what the numbers are, and who honestly knows what the heck's going on at Nintendo at any point anyway, but Mario Maker 3 on Switch 2 has a lot of potential. There was a lot of stuff that you could tell they left on the table with this game, but even if that's the case, Mario Maker 2 is fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, Tetris 99, mentioned earlier with Super Mario Bros. 35, this was the first one that kicked off Nintendo's online-only Battle Royale series, right? They did this, they did F-Zero 99, they did Pac-Man 99. Pac-Man is also, like Mario 35, no longer playable, which stinks because it was awesome. But anyway, Tetris 99, you're playing Tetris against 99 other people. It's a Battle Royale. You play as hard as you can until you die, or you win, or you be the last one standing. It's a really simple concept, but it works incredibly well. There's all these different skins that you can get for it. They do special tournament events online all the time. They're still doing them. These Maximus Cups where they're themed after different Nintendo games and they come out. It's a blast. It's so good. I don't play it super often, but like every couple of months or so, I'll turn it on and play a couple of matches and get my butt whooped. I want to say I've won 3. I think I've made the top rank 3 times. Not the top rank. I've won 3 matches of all the matches that I've played, because I'm pretty decent at Tetris. I'm no Tetris master by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm pretty good at it. Boy, this game fun. I hope it sticks around forever. Okay, Untitled Goose Game. Oh boy. This is one of those things that I fell in love with the moment I saw it. The moment I saw a trailer, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's a game about being a horrible goose and just trying to get through things. It's a very simple concept, and it is executed brilliantly. It's got wonderful music. It's not procedurally generated, but it's constantly changing depending on what you're doing. It's this like very simple piano soundtrack that syncs up marvelously. And you just go around as this goose. You're ultimately just trying to get a bell to throw in a pile of other bells. Just, I guess, because you're a jerk. I don't know. Geese are jerks. If you've ever met a goose, they're usually not very friendly. And there's just a dedicated honk button. It's marvelous. This game is so much fun. It captured my kids hardcore. They eventually added a 2-player mode, Untitled Geese Game, and the 2 of you go around working together to torment people as horrible geese. It's so great. It's so good. And I love it with every fiber of my being. I actually bought, if you can find it, they put the soundtrack to this on a record that changes every time you play it, because the music in the game changes when you play it depending on what you're doing. So there's not like a set, like this is the song for this stage. Like it kind of depends on what you do. It'll play a different like piece of piano melody. So the record, if I'm understanding this right, from every time you play it, it kind of the needle lands in a different groove and it plays the music in a different order. It's really, really cool. I'm really glad I bought that. But yes, Untitled Goose Game by House is extraordinary. And this company has my business going forward. Whatever their next... Oh, God, they have another game coming out they showed off, and it looks ridiculous. I mean, you're not a goose, but it's some sort of like just walking around doing weird stuff game. So yes, any new games by House, they have my attention. Boy, speaking of games that always have my attention, this is Vampire Survivors right here. And this is one of the best games I've ever played on any system. I have put an obscene amount of time into playing through this. I actually originally got it on Xbox before it came out on Switch. And I would have thought that would have been like, all right, well, this would be in my best of the Xbox video if I ever did one of those. But I put so much time into the Switch version that I have now put more time into that than I did on the original Xbox One. I had 100% complete save file. I haven't done the most recent DLC to 100% completion yet because there was just so much to do. But oh my god, this game is genius. It kicked off a whole type, like a whole genre of Vampire Survivors style clones that are out there. But for my money, which is very little, this game is like $5. I've spent so little money on this game that I've gotten so much joy out of. It's got to be one of the best value propositions of all time as far as video games are concerned. The writing in it is all the bestiary and writing and stuff was done by Stephanie Sterling, who it's absolutely hysterical. The writing is wonderful. The music is killer. There's so much content for so little money, and it is so much fun. This game rules. It's an auto-attacking game, I guess. So like you just move a character around, and your character attacks automatically. And then once you kill enough creatures, monsters, you collect these gems and you can level up, and every time you level up you can either choose another weapon or you can choose to upgrade a weapon, and you just keep that going until you just become this onslaught of death and destruction, because you can if you get a weapon and a supplementary weapon, they can complement each other and you can evolve them. If you get enough of them done, you get a treasure chest, and you just become this just force of nonstop destruction for this 30-minute time limit. Or you can put on endless mode and just go forever and watch the chaos unfold. This game is nothing short of a masterpiece. Could not possibly say enough good things about it. If you've never tried it, make sure you've got a lot of time on your hands, because this one will eat up your time. It's so good. Alright, VVVVVV. If I ever wind up doing a 3DS one of these videos, this is going to show up there too. But this one in particular, I got to point out the Switch version, because I originally played this on 3DS and I loved it. It's an exploratory action game, Metroid style, where you go around this giant map and you're trying to get from point A to point B and find these little trinkets. You're on this spaceship, you're like a Commodore 64 looking stick figure, and you got to find your friends. Instead of jumping, you reverse gravity. So like you just push the button and you will then, just go up and down. It's hard to describe. You're probably watching a video of it right now of the way this game works. We just push the button and you reverse gravity. The music's incredible. It's got an absolutely phenomenal soundtrack. And the gameplay is it's really tight. It's got just the right amount of challenge to it. And the 3DS one I had beaten a couple of times, but all I really wanted to do was play it on my TV with a basic controller, and the Switch let me do that. And I've beaten it at least 2 times, 100% completion on the Switch, because I love this game so much, and that system gave me an opportunity to play this game finally on my TV. Because as much as I like portable gaming, I vastly prefer playing things on my television. That's just the way it is for me. So, yeah. I'll always be super grateful to the Switch for giving me a version of VVVVVV that I can play on my television. And it's great. It's marvelous. All right, West of Loathing. This is one of the funniest games I think I've ever played in my life. You're a stick figure. It's set in a Western sort of setting. It's kind of a turn-based RPG, but you go around as a stick figure and talking to different characters, going through different text trees. You get a horse. There's some light puzzle solving stuff, and it is just absolutely hysterical. It is some of the best writing I've ever encountered in a video game. It had me laughing in tears on multiple occasions. It's so clever. It's so much fun. There's a follow-up to this on also on Switch called Shadows of Loathing. I never finished that one. I really should get back to it because this was an absolute blast to play. If you play this game, find a Splatoon and interact with it. That's all I'm going to say. And also find stupid walking because, man, there's so much good stuff in this game. It's so ridiculous. I adore this game so much. I'm so glad I got to play it. What a wonderfully stupid experience. West of Loathing, highest marks. Boy, speaking of stupid, let's talk about What the Golf. This is billed as a golf game for people who hate golf, and I mean, it's genius. It's utterly brilliant. They keep adding more free content too. It's crazy how much there is in this game. But wow, this game is just genius. I don't want to say a lot about it because I don't want to ruin the surprises. It references so many different things, and the basic gameplay is just point in a direction, hold the button to charge up power, then let go to take your shot. Like the most basic golf thing that you could possibly imagine. Except they take that and put it into so many insane situations. It's genius. It's just flat out genius. It's utterly brilliant. It breaks my heart that this company is now basically exclusive to Apple Arcade because they've released a handful of other games that I would absolutely love to play. They're called What the Games, I think is what they're called. They have What the Car, and I think they have a VR game now too, but they're only on Apple. And this game, I think, did extremely well on Switch, but they just don't seem to have any interest in porting their other games to home consoles. They're just on Apple Arcade, which really kind of crushes me. I guess I could play them there, but I want to play them on my Switch because that's where this one is. You know, it's either way. I'm being dumb. What the Golf is brilliant. Don't let the looks fool you, even though I think it's a pretty good looking game. It's very silly looking. Obviously, it's not gorgeous by any stretch of the imagination, but it's got a great art direction. It really works within the confines of what it's going for. It's a wondrous game. If you... I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just a wonderful game, and you've got to try it. You just have to try it, because I don't think you've ever played anything like it. I can't think of anything else that I've ever played that's quite like What the Golf. Great game. All right, we're going to close things out with Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. Long, long ago, when Banjo Guy Ollie was still regularly doing music on his channel, which he still does from time to time, but he was cranking out videos all the time. If you don't know who Banjo Guy Ollie is, he's this wonderful, wonderful man who does these amazing banjo, mandolin, acoustic covers of video game tunes. And it was through his music that I discovered Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap for Sega Master System. On his recommendation, I downloaded it on the Wii Virtual Console and immediately fell in love with it. It's an extremely good game, especially considering its vintage. It's a little ugly from time to time, but really, really great soundtrack, and really kind of just showed you what the Master System was capable of back in those old days. Anyway, this company, Lizard Cube, drops this remake of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap that looks jaw-droppingly gorgeous. They redrew everything with hand-drawn animation and basically just laid it over the original game, so it plays just like the original. You can even switch back and forth between the old graphics and new graphics, and the same thing with the music anytime during the gameplay. It's constantly running both visual styles, so you can just swap back and forth anytime. This was happening kind of around when Cuphead was getting a lot of attention, and while Cuphead also unbelievably gorgeous, like what an incredible looking game, this game to my eyes looks at least as good. It's using hand-drawn animation. It animates just as well as Cuphead, I think, and it's got this, it's such an amazing reimagining. This world that Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap was set in was already super interesting to begin with, but it was so held back by the limitations of the Master System. This just exploded the whole thing. It's unfathomably beautiful. If you're ever going to play Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, this is the way to do it. And the Wonder Boy series is extremely complicated. I don't recommend diving down that rabbit hole because there are branches upon branches. That is a rat's nest of a family tree right there of Wonder Boy games. But if you're ever going to play a single Wonder Boy game or something related to Wonder Boy, this is the one to play. It is an outstanding game that I think still holds up. Even its ancient gameplay, unchanged, I think still holds up as well as just about any other search action, action adventure finding stuff. I hate the term Metroidvania. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's that kind of a game, and it is extremely well done. The Dragon's Trap is this curse, right? You go fight dragons, and then they curse you and turn you into a different form that you then have to use to find the next form, and eventually you can change between them at will at these certain places in the game, but for the first chunk of the game, you're stuck in a specific form that has specific strengths and weaknesses. So instead of getting new power-ups, you kind of turn into like a mouse, and this mouse is really weak. It doesn't have like a projectile attack, but it can walk up walls, whereas the first thing you turn into is a little lizard man, and that can spit fireballs, which is really cool, but it can't get into the same spaces that the mouse man can. So it's a great game. It's really, really good. It's really, really good, and I've played through it on the Switch at least 2 or 3 times from top to bottom because it's extraordinarily fun. They did an amazing job putting it together. So there you go. And that is it. Yes, I'm still wearing this shirt. I just couldn't be bothered to change because my laziness has outgrown. I mean, I've just kind of gotten used to the smell at this point. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway, those were my favorite games for the Switch. I hope you enjoyed this series. I've really enjoyed doing it. I think I might start doing it for other platforms too, because this has just been a blast. And while these are the games that made the Switch, I think, Nintendo's best generation, we could do this for any number of systems of the games that I think made those, like really defined those platforms. And that could be a really fun deep dive to jump into. So maybe I'll start doing those sometime in the next couple of weeks. But regardless, this has been a really fun ride. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw here today, please follow, comment, like, subscribe, share, and let us know down in the comments what are your favorite Switch games. Do you have any old video game related work shirts that smell awful that you've decided to wear on camera for some reason, even though they look terrible? I mean, I did a quick look, and this is really wrinkly, and I don't look very good, so I'm doing this for you. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks again for watching. On behalf of all of us here at Stone Age Gamer, keep playing games.